Hi all, welcome to the first video of my mini series of building a outdoor dog bath. The first step here is just to clear out all the debris and then dig a hole where I can pour a concrete foundation. I got the bright idea there of using my pressure washer to help loosen up the dirt, so I can dig a little bit easier. But as you can see, it made quite a bit of a mess on the right hand side. I also got dirt all over myself. So I put that away for the moment and figured I would just dig it out. But that proved to be way more work than I thought it was going to be. So I grabbed the pressure washer again and found that if you hold it closer to the ground and you put on a cutting nozzle instead of a more widespread one, um, just a nice streamline, you can make these square chunks with the pressure washer that's quite easy to get out. But once I did that, yeah, just continued here to make this hole about 5 feet by 4.5 or so. And as I got to the end here, we can see the whole reason that I decided to build this dog bath, or you could say one of the things that inspired me is my dog. Her name is Misty. I've had it for quite a while. I used to live in a apartment before I moved into this property, this house that I bought. And luckily that apartment had a dog bath and we used it quite a bit as her and I used to go to the beach every other day or so. We were down in San Diego in Pacific Beach. Great place to live. I first moved down here about 4 or 5 years ago. And yeah, so nice to be down here by the beach. Easy to go to all the time, but you get sand everywhere. And yeah, so I've felt kind of bad for her recently, especially as it was a little bit colder winter than normal. That normally, I'd wash her in the backyard with the hose, but when it's cold, I always feel so bad about that. And so, yeah, I wanted to build this outdoor dog bath. Figured this would be a great opportunity to try my hand at filming and see how it goes. Um, One of my buddies and I have best friends. We made a little bet that since both of us have been looking into YouTube, that we both have 2 months to post our first video. And if not, then we owe the other person a bottle of scotch, and I love scotch quite a bit. So I'm hoping for a nice bottle here shortly. We'll see. He hasn't mentioned anything about filming his video yet, so we'll see if he does it or not. Um, yeah, but that's pretty much the hole there. I cleaned it up nicely, made a little bit of space there to be able to pour that concrete. The next step here is going to be building a wall to hold the concrete in. That way it has nice square edges. So I cut two 2x6s, both the same length there for either side. Fortunately, this being my first time ever trying to film YouTube, I definitely missed some shots and forgot to hit record off and on there. Um, but after setting up those first two, we got one more to go. It was at this point, I haven't broken out this miter saw in a while, but it was at this point that I realized, my blade on this miter saw is not as sharp as it could be. That might be the next video I do before I finish everything up, is doing a little short or something on how to sharpen a miter saw blade, as that was a little risky there, making that last cut with a dull blade. You can definitely get some kickback on that, not safe. Last step here is to make sure that everything is at a slight slope. That way, when it rains, we don't get standing water on the pad. I want it to flow off nicely to the left hand side. So I grabbed, a couple of my levels that I have and made sure we have a slight slope going off to the back of that shed that I'm going to be putting everything up against, and then securing everything down. That way, when I pour the concrete, it doesn't bow anything out, and we get somewhat straight edges. This is my dog here. So we finished the form and then went over to Home Depot and grabbed some of this pea gravel to put down and tamper up. This will provide a nice base to be able to pour the concrete on top of, and still allow proper drainage for all the rain. San Diego, we don't get, as much rain as the rest of the country for sure, but now and then when it rains here, it pours. So I want the water to, have some place it can drain off to. And that shed right behind where I'm putting this, it has gravel that goes all underneath it as well. So the water will basically come down here, flow into this gravel, and then continue out to the front of the property into the road. Got that tampered down. My dog wanted to go check it out. She doesn't know this is going to be her dog bath yet, so she's still happy. She doesn't like baths all too much, but you know, got to keep her clean. So for this last part here of actually pouring the concrete and mixing it up, I got my girlfriend here to help me. We have done a little bit of concrete work in the past. We did some concrete countertops. Wish I had filmed those. Those would have made a great video, I think. It was definitely a lot different than mixing it this way. This is the first time I've ever tried mixing concrete. Doing this method here before, we just used a barrel and did a 2-3 bags or so for the countertop. This was definitely a lot more work than either of us thought it was gonna be, but in the end, it definitely worked out. And you can see we took turns off and on who was going to be mixing it. She really wanted to see how much work it was after I complained maybe a little bit too much. I don't know. But yeah, slowly poured it in. My plan here was just because I don't have any of the tools to really easily screed this and make it nice and flat once everything is poured out, was just to slowly work as I go along. And so we mixed it up. We started with a little bit more dry on the base, and then had a slightly more um, watery mix for the top to make it easier to smooth out. Made a slight error in my calculation. We missed one bag, so we stopped the video there for a moment to go grab that, and I forgot to hit record again, but smooth it all out. And this right here is the final product of the concrete slab. Definitely came out better than I thought. Could have done a little bit better around the edges there, but live and learn. And yeah, just for a finale here, got my dog on the slab. Happy as always. Yeah, this is my first video. Thank you for watching.